Hello everyone, this is Bill with Yarn Crafts for Lefties. I received a request from Susan on how to do short rows. Short rows are a method that you will come across sometimes in sweaters and toe-up socks. They are essentially a way of being able to add extra fabric in without actually increasing or widening your fabric. Once you see how to do them, they're actually really easy. At first I did not like short rows, in part because the way I was initially shown really made things very tough. So I've kind of worked it through and figured out what works easiest for me, and that's what I'm going to show you, because you want to be able to work a short row, and it really shouldn't be any harder than doing any other knitting. Your pattern will tell you to knit to a certain place and then wrap and turn. So I've knitted to the point where I want to do my wrap and turn. To do a wrap and turn, the way I work it is I will now bring my yarn to the front. I'm going to slip this stitch purlwise, bring my yarn to the back, and then I'm going to slip this stitch back. Notice how I'm keeping this good and loose. Do not, under any circumstances, take that and give it a tug. You do not want to make your wrap, which is what we've done here, tight. If you make it tight, it's going to be really difficult to work. So it is important that it stays loose. So what I usually do now is when I get to that point, I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to hold that while I do my next stitch. Now I've made sure that that stays loose. So now I'm going to purl until the next point where my pattern might tell me to do a wrap and turn. So I'm going to say that now I've reached the point in my pattern where it says to do a wrap and turn. So now I will take my yarn from the front, bring it to the back. I'm going to slip this stitch purlwise, bring my yarn to the back again, and then I will slip this purlwise back to this needle. Now I can go ahead and turn my work. We've completed the first set of wrap and turns that you would see to do short rows. So now we have this stitch here that's wrapped and this stitch here that's wrapped. So again, I am going to hold with my finger so I can make sure that my wrap stays loose, and I'm going to double check it to make sure it's loose, and it is. Now I'm going to knit until I reach the area where we did the wrap and turn. So now I've reached that wrap and turn. So I need to get this wrap up onto the needle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slide purlwise the stitch from here to here. Now that I've done that, I'm going to pick up that wrap, and while I'm picking it up, I'm going to transfer the other stitch back. Now I'm going to knit these two together. And I'm just going to finish knitting across here. Now that I've done that, you can see we've connected it in. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm just going to purl across until I reach where the wrap and turn is. And you can see right here there's that gap, so I know where I need to work to. So now we'll work until we reach where that wrap and turn is. Okay, so now I have reached the point where my wrap and turn is. So again, I'm going to transfer this stitch. I'm going to pick up and I'll just move that out of the way. I'm going to pick up the wrap, and at the same time that I pick it up, I'm just going to transfer the other stitch back. So now I have 2 loops on the needle. I will purl those 2 loops together, and now I'll keep working across my fabric. And that is all there is to doing a short row in making a wrap and turn. You can see that there's a little pooch that has happened. I've done a total of 2 short rows. I did one down here and the one that I showed you. And it creates an extra amount of fabric within the center. So you can create, say, the toe of a sock. You can use it to create the gusset on a glove, to increase some space in the bust of a sweater or in the shoulders. Lots of options that you can use short rows for. And they're all going to use that same principle of knitting to a certain point, wrapping the stitch and turning, purling to a certain point, wrap the stitch and turning, then you go back, pick up, knit them together, purl across, pick up, purl them together. Follow the instructions on your pattern, and you're good to go. And that's all there is to short rows using wrap and turns. Thank you for joining Yarn Crafts for Lefties. This is Bill. Happy knitting.